Sabbath Elevator by Ellen Pober Rittberg.
4 chairs.
We have 4 chairs. A woman, then a man, then a woman in a wheelchair, enter what appears to be a malfunctioning elevator. Do they all get off? As I said, it's by Ellen Pober Rittberg. The cast: Maggie Alexander, Emily Desotelle, and Kenneth Shook.
The setting: a possibly malfunctioning elevator. The time: the beginning of the holiest day on the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur. Ralph crosses to Julie. He takes the now closed switchblade and runs it across her chest and the outlines of her body.
Nice blouse. Your Sunday best? Or should I say your high holiday Friday best? And we know the extra special this Yom Kippur is, being that it's on the Sabbath. The Sabbaths of Sabbaths, they say. Surprised I knew that?
He opens the switchblade and cuts off the top button of her blouse. Suddenly, the elevator groans. Lights on Laura, who waits in a wheelchair on the landing. The elevator door opens and Laura barrels in. Assessing the situation, she tries to back out, but Ralph is faster. He grabs the wheelchair armrest and pulls it back in, but in the process, he drops the knife. He shoves the wheelchair into the far left corner. The elevator door closes.
For God's sake, press the alarm, would you?
Julie rolls over. She elevates her ankles, trying to reach the alarm button, but her feet don't reach. Ralph grabs the wheelchair handles hard and sharply, tilting the wheelchair back. He then pushes Julie into the right corner with his foot, thereby moving her away from the control panel. Ralph grabs the knife from the floor. He holds it up with a flourish.
We have company! But this is kids' play.
He shoves the knife into his left pocket. He reaches into his right pocket. He takes out a gun.
Try anything, anything at all, and that's the last trip you'll take on your set of wheels.
I didn't realize a gun was so pretty and shiny. To quote the Beatles, happiness is a warm gun.
You're jumping the gun. It hasn't decided if it wants to get warm yet. What do you mean busting in like this? We were having a nice tete-a-tete.
I thought tete-a-tetes usually require talking between 2 people.
Oh, my French is so deficient. Excusez-moi.
Sorry about that. Mom always says, don't correct them, just agree with them. Men like that. And don't let them know how smart you are. That'll scare them away. And I say, the chair, Mom. The steel. That really shuts her up fast. So what did I miss?
We're on a date. And this is our idea of fun. And I was just telling her how we could really use an audience.
Oh, and here I thought you were just giving her a personal tour of your arsenal.
I like that. She's quick. Not like you. What are you doing here?
Mom figured some oldster might decide I was a suitable mate for his grandson. What Mom didn't figure is the geriatric set has more prejudices against the disabled than people my age. They want a perfect specimen, which I happen to be, or at least most of me.
How'd you lose your leg power? Or were you born that way? All shriveled up?
A freak diving accident while I was training for the Junior Olympics. Thanks for asking.
Is it true you people can't have sex?
Who's the you?
Crippled people. Gimps.
Who uses that word anymore? We, are the otherwise abled. FYI, there are other way more crippling conditions.
Yeah? Like what?
An obtuseness, an inability to see things, and in answer to your very personal question, each case is different.
So some can and some can't. I get it. Thanks for the education.
So I'm assuming it's not a first date, or else I'm wondering how the 2 of you got so chummy so fast.
One of us was asking pointed questions.
I'd feel a lot safer if you checked to see if that pistol is locked or uncocked or whatever the word is. Accidents are a terrible thing.
You still didn't answer my question. Can you do it?
I wouldn't know.
No offense, but even if you, assuming you could have a roll in the hay, it's not like somebody's likely to choose you. I mean, a man doesn't like being with a fish in bed.
Oh, then why is it that men find mermaids so sexy?
Why aren't you at services?
I'm a little weak in the belief area, and I haven't made any vows to myself that need annulling, and all those shaking bodies packed into that small room sucks at my available oxygen down there. But I do kind of like the tune. Hold me, Trae.
What's your name, fish girl?
Laura?
Laura, in a few minutes, I am going to ask you to turn your wheelchair around.
Why'd you do this?
Do what? Like I said, we're just having fun. Weren't we, Julie?
Julie shakes her head up and down wildly.
So, where are you headed now?
Services, of course.
But you just said that
A girl's still gotta pray.
no one expects anything of you. God will cut you a break, just like everyone else.
I know you find this hard to believe, but I have a rich life.
A rich fantasy life, maybe.
No, rich as in good and satisfying.
Oh, I get it. You're one of those militant types.
I have my whole life ahead of me, and I don't want to make excuses for myself. And speaking of breaks, why don't you cut yourself one and go? Just
No.
leave.
No dice.
Then how about letting me leave?
You must think I'm plenty stupid.
Well, how about tying me up too, and then you can leave?
You're starting to get on my nerves.
Okay, sorry I asked.
And don't think about screaming, Miss Incapacitated.
Is anyone in there?
Yes, help! A man's attacking us and he's got a gun!
Ralph rushes over to Laura and places the gun against her temple.
You think this is a game? A mental exercise? You just upped the ante.
He rubs the gun slowly along her face. She winces.
But first, I want to have some fun.
He approaches Laura, and as he does, Laura grabs for the pistol with all her might, yanking it first one way, fast, and then the other, and again and again. They struggle, and he loses his balance. She pushes him with all her might. He falls backward. The gun is hers now. He leaps up, but she's faster. She aims it at him and cocks the pistol. He freezes.
Take one step closer and we'll see who upped the ante. Help! Help! Someone's attacking us! Get down. Crawl into the corner. Now. Dad believes wheelchair-bound women are an especially vulnerable group, so he taught me to shoot. I'm a regular Annie Oakley. Make any sudden move and bye-bye family jewels.
Julie awkwardly rolls and inches her way along the length of the elevator, away from Ralph, who is now huddled in a corner into a ball.
Come on, let me remove the beast's handiwork.
Laura struggles to remove the gag with one hand while holding the gun with her other hand.
I just don't fit into his stereotype of a gimp. Let's scream. 1, 2, 3, 3 times. Help! 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 I've watched thousands of gun killings online, and frankly, right now, my trigger finger is feeling real itchy. So now what do we do other than hand him over to the police?
What were you thinking?
Oh, don't put this on me. You are the grown-up here.
Yes, but you're the one with the gun. I say kill him.
Well, no one would accuse you of being a bleeding heart. Capital punishment for maybe attempted rape. Hey, we should make that a constitutional amendment.
So we have to wait until he raped me to prove that he hates all women?
Hold it right there. Where did you get this all-woman idea?
Rape is the ultimate violence against women. Don't you understand that? It's right up there with murder.
Okay, but what has he actually done besides tie you up and humiliate you?
There's no question about what he intended to do, or what he's done in the past that he hasn't paid for.
How do we know that?
He made his intentions clear the moment he put himself between me and that alarm button.
On Cold Meat and Dre Night, we ask for forgiveness for the sins and shortcomings of all of us, communally.
I don't think rape was included in the communal get-out-of-jail-free list, or murder, and it's not considered killing if our act is done in self-defense. It's necessary, period.
Yeah, but still, if he's not at this very moment attacking us, then how is it self-defense? And it surely won't help us to get inscribed into the Book of Life.
He doesn't deserve to live!
Oh, so now you're God?
You didn't hear the things he said!
I get that, but the moment I got control of the gun, the threat level went from orange to whatever color they used to mean near zero.
So, what are you saying? We let him off the hook to go on raping women? Women who don't have your knowledge of weapons or the skills to use them?
I'm saying it's not so clear-cut. Besides, what do I know? I'm only 16.
But clearly, you've lived through a great deal.
Can I say something?
She points the gun at him.
Shoot.
Okay, I admit I humiliated her, but I didn't violate her.
Julie?
First, he was going to rape me. Then he might have killed me depending upon his mood. I'm sure of it.
Did you know him before tonight?
Are you kidding?
I just need to be sure about the facts.
Tell me you're not buying into his saying we were having some kind of sex game in a Sabbath elevator on Yom Kippur, or that I even knew him.
No, of course not. It's just that I plan on becoming an attorney, and I'm training myself to think like one every opportunity I get.
We have no time for this.
Sure we do. A bullet doesn't exactly travel at a snail's pace.
Kill or be killed, or kill or be raped and then killed. Don't you understand? Rape is a violation and a violence. What else is there to know?
Okay, but it's me who has the potential murder weapon.
You saw what he did to me. What else do you need? How many times have you gotten into an elevator and had your heart in your throat because there's some creepy man giving you the hairy eyeball?
Duh.
Do you have any doubt that he was just getting started?
No.
And just so we're clear, you're not suggesting I deserve to be raped because I lack the advanced self-defense skills.
No, of course not.
If we're gonna do what I think we have to do, we need to make sure at least there's no doubt in anyone's mind that he attacked me with the intention of raping and killing me.
How do you know that he was going to kill you?
I said I had a husband.
So?
Well, who would come after him if he left me alive to tell the story? That's how this beast thinks.
That's a stretch. Do you?
What?
Have a husband.
What difference does it make?
You're right, it doesn't.
If you're going to shoot him, you need to be closer than the distance you're at.
So it's clear to everyone else it's self-defense, you mean?
Yes.
Isn't this the holiday of forgiveness?
Shut up, you.
No, let him speak.
Is this what you think God would want you to do?
He has a point. He still is, broadly speaking, human.
I think we should ask, did God want us humiliated and raped on this holy day or any day? And if we let him go, he'll rape, humiliate, and kill some other woman.
I never raped anyone, and never will. I learned my lesson tonight on this holy day. You're scaring me shitless, literally. I almost shit myself.
Do you know how to shoot?
It's like an iPhone camera, right? You just point and shoot. The elevator's small, so there's no way I could miss. You just need to cock the gun for me. That's the part I'm not real clear on.
But answer me this. How do you know that he's raped in the past and will continue to?
Men like him graduate to more and more criminal things through time. They start pulling flies' wings off his children, and then they work their way up the food chain.
I never mutilated flies.
Yeah, probably because you couldn't distinguish between male and female flies. We'd be doing some good and perhaps even saving a life.
In the future.
Yes, and also the present. You just saved my life.
And now I'd be taking his. I say let's wait and watch like they do with some of those early stage cancers. Someone will come.
Wait until you blink or your hand slips and he pounces? Oh no. No, give me the gun.
We should scream some more first.
Okay, fine. Let's scream.
Help! Help! Being attacked!
Help! Okay? We screamed. Well, are you gonna do it now? Because if you won't, I will. Right here and right now.
I've never done anything like this before. This will be my lifelong lesson.
Interesting choice of words. Lifelong, which his life will not be.
I will never do anything like this again. I swear on my mother's grave.
Shut up, beast. You probably hated your mother.
Step closer if you want to make sure.
Ralph rushes forward. Lights down. We hear the sound of several shots being fired.
Thank you. Again, that was Sabbath Elevator by Ellen Pober Rittberg. The cast: Maggie Alexander, Emily Desotelle, and Kenneth Shook. Our next piece is The Forgiveness of Lightning Bugs by Aimee Herman. It's a poetic musical exploring the end of a friendship and a yearning for forgiveness. The cast: Trae, Durica, and Aimee Herman. Please welcome them.
Being my friend when she learned what I did to lightning bugs. I told her how my brother Donovan and I would stand outside and gather them up while my mother cooked something from a can or a box, and the sky was dark enough to make us forget we had feet. And all the other kids on the block were out with their bats and balls, but all we needed were our hands. Donna was the one who first taught me how to catch them right as they started to glow. They were slow enough. Then we'd bring them toward the pavement and smear them. This was our SOS, our Morse code language created by the neon smudge of the firefly. Karun stopped being my friend when I told her about my collection of scabs, piled like crusty spaceships in a cigar box, that used to belong to my father who I never met. Sometimes I'd pretend they were hardened squares of acid. I'd let it slowly dissolve on my tongue. Once I even tripped a little from it, like actually saw floating knees unattached. And I swear I touched mercury. It slid down after midnight and dropped into my bedroom, just nuzzled beside me. Karun stopped being my friend when she saw the slices in my skin. But aren't we meant to feel something? I was just trying to teach my body how to feel again. Sometimes blood can howl you awake, and I like what happens. When the skin tears open, it bleeds and then fuses shut again like a whisper, and you forget how long ago it happened until a scar forms, like a prickly ghost hovering just above skin. This body is in bloom, I said to her. I cut myself to continue to grow. Karun stopped being my friend when I called myself a failed vegetarian. When I admitted to all the things I've ever stolen. When I had a panic attack outside of that bar. When I fucked that girl she considered falling in love with. When I lost her favorite sweater. When I didn't call her back all those times. when she left. But aren't there at least 14 sides to every story? We can never go back to challenge the accuracy, to interview those who watched from the sidelines, to beg forgiveness, or can we? One, the guy in the corner who saw our first fight.
Salt and vinegar potato chips, hovering over fingerprints, so I licked them. And then I looked up, and there they were. One had phosphorescence on her shoulder, and the other like an erect Modigliani, but with clothes on. The sky that day was all airplanes and pigeon wings. Someone asked me earlier if I believed in God. I sneezed, and a Bible fell into my hands. I don't even know what that means.
Right, but us, Karun said to me,
there are some things that cannot be forgiven. War. Like rings of water on unsealed tabletops. Something about a stolen word or a borrowed lover. Did you know the lightning bugs have a steroid in their blood? It makes them taste wicked, like real bad. Helps keep them alive. You know, that light is their throat, galloping words into the air. I guess they got a lot to talk about, you know? Where they're going, what they feel. What do they feel, you think? You know, your hands. I hope you washed them afterwards.
2, the professor, graduate school in Brooklyn, present and future artists.
The room was crowded with ripped jeans, paint-splashed overalls, high-top Chuck Taylors, black, of course. Pink hair, piercings, tattoos that are misspelled, but who really gives a fig for grammar these days? I asked them their names, who they knew, what they liked. It helps me know what they're about before the critiques and the breakdowns.
Alice Neal.
She, Karun, said portraits that explored the vacancy of humans, what they think they are all aiming for. Nice.
He never could remember my name.
Some of their eggs glowed. Did you know this? The lightning bugs, not the students. You are far better off searching east, for in the west there is no globe. Patterns. Always search for the patterns each species has committed to its own, like these students, all categorical, sometimes synchronized in their flash. Can you ever really tell any of them apart? Let me talk about myself. I was working on my 5th book, Light Pollution, Misnomers, plenty of footnotes. That woman who wore silk in the wintertime amused.
3, that cafe where Karun said,
Phil, there has to be a moment when things change. I've run out of steam with you. There's only so much. We're older now. Your recklessness, I just can't.
Sitting across from her felt like when I'd switch channels on the cordless phone as a kid, hearing static-soaked glimpses of nearby conversations picked up through the airwaves. I didn't want to commit to this conversation. I lost my best time. 3, the barista, where Karun stopped.
86% of art students wind up right here, funneling their student loan payments and creative je ne sais quoi into the foam of these overpriced fucking lattes.
On the afternoon Karun ended our friendship, the sky was purple. Kind of like if Mike Tyson had punched the hell out of it and this was a result of its bruising.
Between customers, I play hipster mathematics, counting their flawlessly angled bangs and ironic glasses, divided by artfully crafted mustaches and septum piercings. I should write this down. Right. Yeah, some are cannibals. Most prefer pollen or snails. Depends on what they're into, I prefer firefly to lightning bug. Like a brush fire sweeping across the sky, over bushes, into treetops. I should write that down, don't you think? Yeah. One day we are gonna run out of energy, run out of wire, run out of glass, and these fireflies are gonna be the only thing that light us out of the darkness. And these creatures that are buildings and overpopulation are trying to destroy are gonna light us out of the darkness. I have a customer.
4, the lover. Inadvertently shared.
Love is chaste. Like ice cubes to alcohol, no one saunters up to love. They each love me differently, approaching me like their own language, carving me up, and the whole time I was blinded by their gaze for each other. Love is so much of a past tense and barely a present. How you used to look at me, how you once kissed me as though trying to learn every nerve ending in my... The electricity of the male lightning bug is what attracts the female. Neon foreplay. The more flamboyant the light, the more impressed and turned on the female may be. Karun had a glossier light, but it is perhaps unfair to compare an illuminated disco ball to a nightlight. We just don't talk to each other anymore.
I lost my best time. I lost my rainbow waterfall. She was gritty like Stevie Nicks, comfortable like my favorite piece. I lost my best time. The moth to my hair, her turtle moss, rainforest eyes. With her I could take off my skies. I lost my... They're disappearing. Kind of like Karun, but I know she's still out there, just no longer for me. The lightning bugs, they are the vanishers. Our pesticides and light pollution, how we hunt this earth for pleasure and not permission. Karun stopped being my friend when I stopped asking, when I stopped giving, when I kept plucking out parts of myself and forgetting that the smear, the hurt, the ruin remains. Karun stopped being my friend when I stopped being.
Yes, now we'll come to the final play performance today, The Lenticular by Kevin Killian. This play is by Kevin Killian, the wide-ranging poet, novelist, playwright, and critic who passed away in June in San Francisco. You can read more about him on what I just mentioned, about his accomplished life in the arts, in the essay on page 6 of the online Boog City calendar magazine. Among much else, Kevin Killian was a leading force in Poets Theater. With the consent of his widow, Dodie Bellamy, we're happy to honor Kevin Killian with this special performance. The setting will be, the play will open in Rosedale, an affluent suburb north of Toronto. In the salon of the Court Sisters, guests gather for dinner. Playing those guests, Rolls Andre, Leanne Brown, Shiv Mirabito, Aeliana Nicole, and Alexis Smith. The entire piece directed by Tony Torn. Please welcome them.
But Greta dear, where are those goldfish I adore?
It's complicated.
Their wee mincing tails, so flirtatious. Tell me, is Allison home? I tell you, I'm dying to hear the latest about, what are those things that interest her so? Those little picture things that change?
The lenticular cabin, that's her King Charles head.
Why do I so frequently think of lentil soup when you mention that word? Greek experts, come, trace their common derivation.
I shouldn't know this, but somehow I do. Through osmosis, I guess. My sad fate, lenticular images, in fact, do derive their name from the same root as the quotidian lentil.
You nurses must know all sorts of things.
I suppose we do.
Between lentil beans and those gerbils and flashlights.
When they learn I'm a nurse, men will always hone in on one ordinary extraction procedure. But in my case, Cabin, I'm concerned about my sister. She's obsessed. She's turned our entire living room into a large lenticular art cube that stretches from hutch to sideboard and gives the unsettling illusion that one has already eaten. You can't even make out the food on your plate. It seems to bilocate each time your fork makes a jab for it.
I wonder if that extraction procedure to which you allude is the same one I'm thinking of.
It is. The question is, what to do with Allison? You were engaged to her, Cabin. Give me some advice. I don't really love her the way a sister should.
Me. She and I set a date, and then she broke it off. Why? Hard to say. But I still love her, speaking as an aesthetician. She's quite extraordinary looking, and she sure can rock a caftan.
But this time she's gone too far.
Dear, you can always get new goldfish.
She's called Tim, my boss. Dr. Tim. I couldn't be more embarrassed. And your mission, Cabin? Somehow distract Dr. Tim when dinner starts. Do not let Allison browbeat him with her LQ test.
Have I met Tim?
I don't know, but I love him the way meat loves salt. As much as or more than my sister loves her lenticules.
Oh, okay. What's cooking? It smells divine. And neither of you were ever known for your cuisine.
Our salons are now catered out of household things.
And what's an LQ test?
Look, here's the chef now.
a minute. I hope you're hungry. Oh, who's this?
I'm Cabin Karki. Don't bother repronouncing my name. Just remember it's like a little log cabin, and under the mat you'll find my car key.
Well, I'm Mitch of Mitch's Digestibles. May I give you my card?
But I would rather you let me give my heart to Sir with love.
Well, Miss Court, that mural in your dinette, it kind of frightens me. I walk in one door and I see a field of African veldt, and then I come into the pantry and it's like a flowery apron on an amateur cook. All violets, no rigor.
When we used to date, Allison was all about grilling the waitstaff. Is this produce raw? It was mortifying, and I see she hasn't changed.
Well, while we wait for the final guest, won't you try some nibbles? This is goldfish amandine, raised locally. Indeed, within 8 feet of the eat site.
I'll have to check my own heart rate after I scream.
Tino Seagal, 2011.
Yes, think of Allison's work as performance art of a sort. You stood in line for 8 hours at the Met to watch Alexander McQueen fit Marina Abramovich. This you get every day, no waiting.
No goldfish for me. Thanks, Mitch. Gee, it's like a Gershwin tune.
Well, Miss Allison has ordered the Thayer Abbott special. Camouflage birds. From above, they're blue. To match the sky, for below, nature gives them white underbellies. So their enemies think that there's snow and burrow.
I said no, thank you.
Think of penguins.
Midge, dear, let's meet again at the eat site.
Who's this? Is this the famous Dr. Tim I've heard so much about?
Allison, don't be so disconnected. You were my fiance. You know I'm no doctor. You've known me since RISD, where we worked with Dale Chihuly.
Isabel.
Please, Allison, relax. Let this be the one occasion where you don't whip out your LQ test at the drop of a napkin ring.
That's okay, Greta. Allison, dear, try it on me. I love taking tests. It puts me firmly on the side of the federal.
Oh dear.
Now, so, Doctor, peer through these lenses and tell me what you see on my dining room wall.
A peacock's tail?
It's actually only more lenses, infinitely small. Although I'm trying to enlarge them by one method or another.
She thought she might have found a new size of lenticule on the golden backs of my little fish.
Call this a lenticular print. It may look like a peacock feather to you, Dr. Tim, but it's really only superb printing by my factory elves.
Now run over to the other side and see what appears.
Now run over to the other side. Stealing my thunder, sister mine.
I'm sorry.
Now, reapply these binoculars to your eyes, Dr. Tim, and turn them to focus into the room on the far side of the threshold. What appears?
Hastily, I see what looks like a gravestone in an autumn cemetery.
Poor little innocent fish sacrificed to lenticular science.
A graveyard in old Nepal, in my honest opinion.
What the public came to love about the lenticular was its way of emblematizing the loss of the past to the present, or the present to the future.
It makes time pass so quickly. A boon to the board. One step and you're in the grid of life, proud as a peacock. But blink and well, you're dead.
Not literally!
Lenticular is death, but only the sort of death Masumi, echoing Michel Foucault, calls incorporeal materialism. And step back to where you were, or shut your left eye, and the grave disappears, and you're back to life, or the next thing to it. You're back in the past recaptured, the future negated. Proust would have loved it, and in his honor, Midge is now passing out some delectable goldfish almondine.
Half a bow!
Is it really about the passage from death to life?
And back again.
Yes, Cher had a sizable hit with that Masumian delight. If I could turn back time. Remember, Allison? It was going to be our first dance as newlyweds. Cher stood atop an enormous battleship and made the world listen to itself. The tortoise nearly mated the hare.
I think I remember. Dr. Tim.
I'm Dr. Tim. Are there two of us?
I'm Cabin, and this is Allison, Greta's little sister. She looks sweet and innocent, doesn't she, Doctor? But believe me, she's Satan with a strap on. As I'm sure you've heard.
How do you do, Miss Course? Now, you have an interest in things lenticular, or so I hear from your charming sister.
Hello, Doctor.
Administer your LQ test, Allison, or should I say Dolores, Our Lady of Pain. A Swinburne touch to the lenticular, or so I've always thought, since its adoption by medical sciences in the 1950s. Could you hurt me, sweet lips, though I hurt you? Men touch them and change in a trice, the lilies and languors of virtue, for the raptures and roses of vice.
Finally, one who understands. As a little girl, I was drawn to the flame of the candle rather than its wick. Daddy gave me a set of tiny cards, no bigger than your mandible, Doctor. And each one depicted a scene from nature. In one, a green tree on the hill. Tuck it up a notch, and the leaves turned red. Tuck it up another notch, and the tree is shining white with cold.
That was my card, sister. Mine. Yours was the lighthouse.
In a second card, a lighthouse stood wet and dark on a mossy cliff. But when I spun the card around my head, beams of light burst out of its lens, under its dome, circling the dark, bloody sea below.
That was my heart, not the sea.
My nose tells me dinner's ready in the next room. Should I see what's cooking?
I've convoked this dinner to show off my newest work of art. That mural which performs life and death is lovely, but it's very 2008. My elves have been slaving day and night, weaving a carpet made of lenticules. You'll feel like you're walking on a cloud, and you will be. And the next step, you'll be greeted by the hounds of hell.
Satan with a strap-on, to be sure.
Allison, where's Greta?
Oh, have you checked the nurse's station? Oh, that old-fashioned white she wears, the no color of a movie screen. No wonder all you men prefer me, for I come in colors everywhere. Do you know this poem, which I sort of adapted for my own style sense? When as in silks my lensic self goes, then methinks how sweet it flows, the liquefaction of my clothes. Next, when I cast mine eyes and see that brave vibration, each way free, oh, how that glittering taketh me!
I hear raised voices from the pantry.
Somehow, Greta exited without being seen.
And you doubted the power of my purposive lenticular.
I'm sorry I killed your fish!
They were my heart. They were not fish. They were the lenses of my youth as a girl.
Maybe doubted is the wrong word. I've never doubted per se, but when we were an item, Allison, you used to exaggerate your influence in world affairs.
Mistress Allison, do you ever see clients alone? I have a bit of an extraction problem your arts might assuage.
Remember when you said you met J.D. Salinger? In where was it, dear? Somewhere doomy like New Hampshire. And you talked him into putting those brassy stripes on the corners of his books?
Brassy? I think not. Well, they did the trick, didn't they? For Jerry, the lenticular bounces us back and forth from the illuminations that sometimes rattle our lives, turning us into quiz kids, and then back into the doldrums of the mundane, where we realize wisdom is but a fleeting thing. We really are as phony as those squares we despise.
Jerry?
Well, that is the name his intimates used to bark out erotic orders to him with, while tightly encased in black vinyl, as he lay moaning on the damp floor of his homely Buddhist dungeon basement. Jerry, you piece of shit! Began many perorations.
My word, Miss Court, you are a firework. Come on, show me what you're worth.
There was the real world, Allison, and then there was the world you took from me.
Oh, hold up that mirror, do. Angle it so we can see into my newly carpeted dining room.
Dr. Tim, do something! The poor girl's on the edge of shock!
I'll be fine. Let's hold the mirror up to the dialectic, shall we?
How ghastly! Isn't she that catering girl? So keen to pass on her card?
Perhaps.
Blow out the candles, Greta!
My eyes are playing tricks on me! Is that Mitch? Or is it a whole system of values dead on the rug?
It is not one person who ruined our lives, but a whole nexus of market demands.
By Jove, I think it's capitalism.